was Boise State. Good. New school, 600. Answer there. A daily double, and you're off to a good start today. 3,200 so far. 2,000, please. All right. Florida International University was planned in an old air-controlled tower, now called this type of tower, a symbol of academic life. What is Ivory Tower? You're right. New school 800. Alumni of the new school in New York City include this actor. Just a few years before, he memorably called for Stella. Patrick, with Marlon Brando. Right.
First name 800.
Socialist candidate Debs. Middle initial V. Travis, this is Eugene. Eugene, that was his first name. Yes, and that takes you up to 6,000. Great start for you today. We're going to take our first break. Back in a moment.
At Farrah, everybody has a teamwork on their face.
But we want to make sure that our clients know that we're there for them and they're not alone in the process.
We're a customer service firm. That's what makes us different.
You're going to get a level of treatment that is unlike any other.
We make ourselves available to the client so that there's an urgent need they have, we can address it immediately.
When you're in for the legal fight of your life, you want a team that has that kind of commitment and stability.
I think what is most important is just letting them know that you're by their side and that you're there.
Farrah, here for you, here for good.
문제 개발 stand.
I need to charge. And for this multitasking number cruncher, time is money. So no more chasing sales. Because at Floor & Decor, I get rock bottom prices on top quality products. And with free in-store design services, I score expert advice and project planning. Not like free with purchase either, like free. Mission accomplished. Now that's time well spent.
Explore Floor & Decor in person or online at flooranddecor.com.
Anyone here who spoke?
하이야 말한데. 왓츠앱 안 보여줘?
Okay, let me tell you what he did. As mayor, I expanded healthcare coverage. As president, I'll build on Obamacare because healthcare is a right. I created nearly 500,000 jobs in New York City. As president, I'll build an economy that delivers good jobs with higher wages. I'll take on the gun lobby and save lives. And I will stop Trump's assault on women's reproductive rights. I've got a record of doing things. I've got the resources to take on this fight. As mayor, I held myself accountable for results. As president, I'll offer common sense plans and I will get it done. So let's stay on the offensive. Promotional consideration provided by TrueCar. A tornado warning is in effect for portions of Pierce and Ware County. So includes some other counties around southeastern Georgia, but specifically as far as our counties, it's for Pierce and Ware County. So this is the overall tornado warning. Just to get the reference for those of you not familiar with counties, here is Waycross and then Homerville and Valdosta. This is racing off to the northeast at 60 miles per hour. Here's a look at it, and this is the cell that we're watching. Steve Federo is working right now. He has the Doppler. So this is simply looking at what is happening with the wind cell, and we do see a rotation there. Just now getting into far northwestern Ware County. At this juncture, Steve's showing you the rotation. At this juncture, this tornado should pass well to the northwest of those of you in Waycross. But for those of you in Fairfax, Dixie Union, and the Alba area, Alba probably being the largest, it would be a good idea now, while you have time, to make precautions, to find a safe place. If you're in a trailer that does not have a foundation, and you're still about 20 minutes away from this tornado, and you can get somewhere to a safe place, now would be the time. Otherwise, I would hunker down. This tornado is dangerous. This tornado might have winds of anywhere from 60 to maybe 90 miles per hour. So there are certainly much larger and stronger tornadoes. That's my way of saying if you're in a trailer and you don't have time to get to a building with a
that
stronger
ground.
foundation. I think as
Okay.
long as you and your family
Yeah.
cover yourselves, give yourselves protection from flying debris, that's probably going to be our greatest concern with this tornado. So the location of the circulation on radar is either right on or has just now gone over Highway 82. We're talking about far northwestern Ware County. We're talking well to northwestern Waycross. So for those of you in Waycross, we will continue to watch other storms. The overall area of severe storms will continue to work from west to east. So the severe thunderstorm is still going to head towards you folks in the Waycross area. But this particular cell, where we have rotation and indicated tornado, it looks like it with the Doppler. But again, the official word is a severe thunderstorm that potentially is producing a tornado. Now, I do also want to point out that although this is where the tornado warning is, primarily for those of you west, northwest, and then north of Waycross, we have a solid line of severe thunderstorms that stretches from there all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico. And this is all going to be working eastward. So for the rest of us, this is why the rest of us are under a tornado watch, and this is why for the rest of us, even if we're not going to be impacted by an isolated tornado, all of us will be dealing with, we've already seen wind gusts of 50, we will be dealing with winds, especially as the squall line comes through, with winds of 50 and occasionally possibly up to 70 miles per hour. If you just joined us, a tornado warning is in effect. We're talking primarily about Ware County, other counties as well over southeastern Georgia, but primarily talking about those of you in the far northwestern portions of the first coast. Steve Fundera is showing you the rotation of this storm that may be producing a tornado, and then here are some of the areas that will be hit over the next 15 minutes or so. The tornado warning goes until 8, but for those of you in Dixie Union and Hayward, and then up toward Rockingham, and really just about up to the Alma area. So think west and northwest of Waycross. For those of you in Waycross, as far as this particular tornado warning, we think you're fine. But for those of you well west of Waycross, along Highway 82, and then up toward the Alma area, caution. Again, because this is moving at 60 miles per hour, why not take precautions like a tornado is heading towards your place? You can take those precautions for another 20 to 25 minutes, and then you'll be fine. Why not play it safe? Certainly, if anybody was about ready to head out the door and drive, the worst place you can be in is a moving vehicle during a tornado. So at the very least, anybody who's planning to drive over western or northern third of Ware County, please do not, because this is a tornado warning, and this is part of an overall squall that has produced wind damage really since yesterday over places like Louisiana, Mississippi, into Florida and Georgia. And now, although we have not had any reports of a tornado actually on the ground, radar, Doppler radar continues to indicate the possibility that this could be producing a tornado. So this tornado warning, again until 8 o'clock, officially, it's in effect from the National Weather Service. So they're verifying the concern of a tornado here. And notice the warning includes Ware and Pierce County. We're primarily talking about far northwestern Ware and far northwestern Pierce County. So for instance, those of you in the Waycross area, we think this cell will pass off to the northeast of you. In Patterson, you're probably fine as well. If you go northwest of Patterson, you go north of Waycross, you go west of Waycross, and this is a storm to be taken very seriously. You wonder what the overall picture is. Again, there's Waycross, you see it, here's your tornado warning. This is part of a solid line of storms. It's on the squall line. A solid line of storms, and we're pretty severe thunderstorm warning now, and the solid line all the way from where this tornado warning is, all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. And although you see most of the southwest and northeast, as this overall squall line will continue to work toward the east. So for the rest of us, although we've been dealing with certainly some wind gusts up to about 50, some brief showers, this is the main event. And this main event is going to work. We're going to notice the severe thunderstorm warnings in Hamilton and Swanee, so soon into Columbia and Baker County. We have severe thunderstorm warning into Columbia County and Clinton County and Ware County. The tornado warning until 8, but notice the severe thunderstorm that is the parent speed of that tornado. That is going to continue to maintain its energy. So as our main concern right now is for the tornado warning, all of these other severe thunderstorms will basically maintain
says,
Mm.
the first drafts were in 1787 of the Constitutional Convention. It built on the Articles of Confederation, and gay people did not sign it. There are like 7 amendments. There are 7 articles. And latex amendment. Yeah, because it has to be funded.
And right in here is a powerful shortwave. And that is now making the turn. It had been moving from west to east, and now it's heading to the northeast. And it has developed what we call a dry slot. Now the dry slot is on the west side of the axis. This is the upper level trough, and this is the axis here. And then as this dry slot actually intensifies just east of the axis where the moisture is, it causes that much more lift. So when you see these colors, that's an infrared satellite picture. And what they're actually telling us is the more enhanced, the more dramatic the color, the colder the cloud tops.
Exhausted. Lose almost no.
ఇందిరాలేదండి ఆయన అడిగి తీసుకుంటున్నాను కాస్ట్లీ ఉంటుందా అండి
It died out. Okay, so here is the tornado warning. Notice the box here, but the motion, as we mentioned, is off to the northeast of. Of view. If you're off to the south of Highway 82, you're fine as far as any concern with this particular tornado warning. But I do want to emphasize, remember, this is just part of the larger, solid area of severe storms that go all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Specifically in Ware County, here's a few locations, several chapels there and churches. Speaking of, I know for those of you who live in trailers, the nearest church may be the building with the most solid foundation, the safest place to be. If you think you can get there in time, do so, but with this moving at 60 miles per hour, and this only about 10 miles of land, I would say at this point, it would not be a good time to make that motion. But it is something that the rest of you that are over southeastern Georgia and even north central Florida might want to think about. If now seeing this tornado warning, that causes more concern for you than what we call straight line winds, and you feel like the place that you are, that your trailer is not a safe place, and you live outside the storm and you don't want to worry, now might be the time to go to the nearest building that you feel good about. Maybe is nearest community center or the nearest church. So we're looking here, Steve is helping us show where all the severe thunderstorms are. Remember, these severe thunderstorms, because they're producing winds gusting possibly to 75 miles per hour, those winds may indeed be as high as any winds the tornadoes produce. So we want you to take these severe thunderstorm warnings pretty seriously as well. Again, these go till 8:45, covering in our area, Columbia and Ware County. And this leading edge of this intense color, that indicates where the highest potential winds will be. Certainly the rain and the lightning extends beyond that, but it's that leading edge, and that's going to be the case for all of us. When the leading edge of the squall line reaches where you are, that's when we're going to have the highest winds. Then once that blows on by, although we'll have plenty of lightning and rain, then at least the threat for your area will come to an end. So here's a bigger look at the bigger picture. Steve is going to paint what's going to happen to the overall line as it continues to work to the east So places like Lake City, pretty much involved with you. Folkestone will be there briefly. For Jacksonville, in a general sense, we'll say the leading edge, the worst winds that this system has to offer in about the 9 o'clock time frame. St. Augustine maybe down to about 10. I do want to continue to emphasize, as we've seen today since middle of the afternoon, even preceding the storms, we've seen winds gusting to about 50 miles per hour that has brought down some limbs. We know of indications now, especially down when it's dark, and you can't see if a limb has fallen across the road, of at least one individual that has drove their vehicle into a tree that fell across the road. So, especially if you're driving in rural areas, unless you absolutely have to, I would not. Even if you're not under a tornado warning, even if for whatever reason you think you won't be under a tornado warning, just the straight line winds are enough to bring down the limbs, maybe have already brought them down on roads that you might be on. So I would say really for most of us that are in rural areas where the street lighting is not good and there's plenty of trees, even small pines that could come on down, if you can wait till tomorrow morning to drive, that probably would be the better overall idea. So here's the tornado warning for Ware. We're including other counties as well. I want to make sure we see the tornado warning is for Ware County. For those of you in Pierce County, it's a severe thunderstorm warning, meaning still potentially wind damage, but the tornado warning involving Ware County. Some of these other counties certainly care about those folks, but that's beyond the First Coast. Maybe Steve, you can help me verify this. So, is the tornado warning still involved part of Pierce County?
It does, indeed, and it's still going to about that 8 o'clock hour. And what I am anticipating the National Weather Service is doing here is, I'll take away some of the noise here. We'll go to the next graphic, so it shows. That tornado warned cell is weakening just a little bit. You know, I haven't seen any good indications of solid rotation to it.
So you can almost see what looks like it's spreading out here.
Yeah, and what will likely happen is that by the time we get past the 8 o'clock hour, we won't be dealing with that tornado warning anymore. We'll just be dealing with that severe thunderstorm warning anymore. But don't let that, I guess that's not to say it's any better or worse, because, hey, a straight line wind gust of 70 miles per hour is, you know, just as damaging as 70 miles an hour with a slight low rotation to it. So, I guess this is to say, don't let the word tornado kind of here in these situations. With that base wall and then just show them, I mean, we're all going to get into some of the action as
Right. I really think, Steve,
నేను వాటిలో మ్యూట్ చేస్తున్నాను చూద్దాం. ఓ ఇది మళ్ళీ అందులో కలుపుతున్నారా? ఇది ఆపేసి దూరం అనేది
లైబ్రరీ
నేను ఎంత అంటాను.
I need it.
those of you in Duval on South, again, we would just assume that no one would be on the road for the rest of the night, which doesn't mean it's going to be absolutely dangerous, but it would just be the safest way to look at it. But if you just have plans, maybe you still have to go pick someone up. If you're from Duval South, that means really that winds won't be much stronger than they have been. We've had some gusts of 50, and you're well aware of that. But if your main concern is, hey, I still want to go out and do some stuff, I have to pick up my child or my loved one, or for whatever reason, I just want to make sure I get in before this arrives. Generally speaking, from Duval South, you probably have about another hour. As you go Nassau County North, about another 30 minutes, and I would try to get off the roadways. If you are along, if you really are over Brantley, Charlton, Baker, Union, and Bradford, and our friends down there in Alachua County, just think of the storm system as on your doorstep, and I would not be out and about unless you absolutely have to, and maybe have to go pick someone up. Now, we could look at the other side of the coin, and that is that the worst of this will continue
rapidly from west to east. So for those of you in the Swanee and the Okefenokee, probably by 9 o'clock, if not earlier, the wind damage concern will be tapering off. Now, you still